Hello everyone. In this video, I want to explain about global variable, local variable, and constant declaration in C language. Now, first, we should understand what you mean by global variable. So here I am declaring. So let us start the program with library. So after the declaration, after the including of libraries, here I am declaring some variable. The variable name is some A. It is not declared in any function. It is declared outside of the functions. Okay, so initially I'm calling initially we are declaring, so the main function started. In each main function, I'm declaring some variables. B comma C comma D variables are declared. Now B comma C comma D variables comes under the main function, and they are local to the main function, but A is not local to the main function. It is not declared in any function. It is declared outside of the function. So it will become a global variable. Now global variable can able to access in every function. For that, I want to show you one program. Now here, so first, let's read the value of A comma B. Enter the values of A comma B. Now here A is a global variable, B is a local variable. So now, but the values we are reading from main function scanf. Now we are reading the values of the sub B. Okay, now so let us consider the values of A and B are something like a 5 comma 6. 5 comma 6. These are the values of A comma B. Now after this, I want to call a one function, that is C is equals to, so C is equals to add. And we are passing the parameters A comma B. Actually, we read that A comma B from NF. And that the values are read in the main function. And that values are now passing as a parameter to the add function. Now, we should also need to write a definition for the add function. The definition here it is. And to access the A comma B actual parameters, we need a declaration of formal parameters. The two formal parameters are prepared. Now, in this program, I want to perform some addition of the two values. So that I'm declaring one more variable locally. Now here z is equals to x plus y. This is the calculation we have performed. Now we are returning the value of z. So this is an add function. There are two functions are created. One is a main function. One more is a add user defined function add. Okay. So let's call it one more function without return value multiplication. The multiplication is a c comma something like a 2. Okay, the parameter is here. Let me complete the program. Then I will explain the step-by-step procedure to understand local and global variable. So when function is calling from here, we must also need a one definition for the function. So the definition is a void multiplication of. So now, let's consider here I am passing only one parameter, that is c itself. To catch the c value, here I am declaring a one parameter of p. Now, here I want to print a multiplication of multiplication result. Multiplication result. Multiplication result. The multiplication operands are p into a. Now also I am using global variable a here to get the multiplication result. Now this is a definition part for the multiplication function. So let's give a different color for multiplication, and for this one is a one another color. So because their total number of functions are 3, and the functions themselves they have their own local variables. What do you mean by the local variables? Local variables are declared within the function, and using within the function, and they are used to they cannot transfer to the other function. We cannot use the b after declaring here b. I cannot use here b. Okay, I cannot use the b here. You cannot use because b is a local function, local variable to the main. Okay, in a similar way, we cannot use x. We cannot use here something like a x. We cannot use because x is declared it's within the add function. So these local variables are belongs to the their own function. They cannot access into the other function. So that is a concept of a local variable. Okay. Now let me show with a one diagram. So here is considered this is the main function block. This is a multiplication add function block. This is a multiplication block. Three blocks are created. Now within this block, here we have a some three variables are declared. They are like a B, C, D variables. After declaring, immediately whenever you call that function, they get allocated with a memory. They get allocated with a memory. So here three variables are declared. Three variable memory will be allocated. Next to here we have again three variables. So three variable memory will be allocate for it. So they are X, Y, Z. Something X, Y, Z. Next here we have only P variable. So this is a multiplication function. So I just want to mention the name of the function. So this is the main function block. Now this is a add function block. Now this is a multiplication block, multiplication function block. Now what are the name of the variables? Here the variable name is a B and one more is a C, one more is a D. These are the variables. Here we have a X, Y, Z variable. X and this is Y and this is a next one is a Z variable. Here we have a Z variable. Next here we have only the P variable. Okay, so these are the variables are belongs to local to their respective functions. But there is a one more variable. The name it is called as a. Name it is called as a. A is a global variable, not belongs to any one function. It is also not declared within the function of any one of the function. So now the name of the variable is a. Now every function can able to access this corresponding variable. Every function can able to access this variable. All functions have the equal rights to use the global variable. Every function can able to access this variable globally access to every function. Now how the value, the modified value will be reflect. So let's see with you one example. Whenever whenever you are giving input to the variable a, so the value will become here 5. According to our example, a value is a 5. Now the 5 value is passing as a parameter to the add function call. Here add function call value will become 5 comma 6. Is a value, is a b value. Whenever you are calling this function, they get replaced a value at x, b value at y. Now here, so 5 plus 6, it's become 11. Now 11 value assigned to the 11 value are written from this function and the value assigned to the C. Now C value will become 11. Now multiplication, next followed by multiplication function we are calling. Immediately control invokes the multiplication. Now multiplication parameter is a C. C value is 11. So this actual parameter, now this value transfer to the multiplication code. Now multiplication formal parameter P receive the value as 11 formal parameter. Now here only we are printing because the return type of multiplication is a void. Now printf P into A. What is the A? A value is a 5. Now 5 value will be multiplied. 11 into 5. So it is a 55 result will be print from this printf. But I want to modify this code slightly, especially in the part of multiplication. Before getting to the multiplication, I want to increment the A value. Let's say you can able to perform the increment, decrement. You can include the A variable wherever you want. In any arithmetic operation, we can able to add. So now I have performed the A plus plus. What is the initial value of A? A is 5. Now after incrementing the values become A is become 6. Now the multiplication is become 11 into 6. Okay. So then like that global variable can able to access anywhere. Every time the last modified value will be available from the global variable. Initially, I have given the value at main function. The value allocation is created. The value read to the A memory from main function. So, and I modified the A value in the multiplication function. Initial value 5. Now it is modified as a 6. Then after I perform the multiplication with B. Now this is about how to use a global variable. Now see the difference between local variable to the global variable. The local variables of any function cannot access to the other function, but global variable can able to access to every function. Every function can able to use the global variable. Now here one more important point regarding about global variable and local variable, so that is naming. Can we can we keep a common name for local variable and global variable? This is also very important concept. For that, I want to take a one more example. Can we use a same name for local variable and global variable? Now, actually, we don't get any error, but sometime whenever you are allocating the value on a same name, now functions will prefer to use only the local variable, not a global variable. So for that, I want to declare one global variable A. Now we are calling a main function. Here also I am declaring one variable like a B, C, like that. See, the global variable name A and local variable name also A. Actually, my intention is that I want to allocate a value for global variable, but compiler cannot allocate. Compile now. Let's see. I want to allocate a name for. I want to allocate a name, value for global A variable. So percentile D, comma, address of A. Now this from the channel the value read for which A? Is it for local variable or global variable? Obviously, the function block which has the same name like a global variable, then whenever you are reading or using the variable, which always prefer to allocate or use the value of local variable, not global variable. Now you cannot get in case if it is a something like a value. Now here I want to read like a something low. Let's stop initializing here. Now see the global variable here I have given it some value, but then is not allocating for global variable, then allocate for the local variable A. Your intention is that you want to give a value for global variable, but never it is possible. Always function prefer to give a value for local variable instead of the global variable when names are similar. Now also I want to pass some parameters for the some c is equals to another function add. Let's consider here the value is just something like a 4. In my intention is that I want to pass the global a parameter. Okay, I want to. So these two parameters I want to pass. Here also I want to pass the global A value. But but compiler cannot consider the global A. Compiler will transfer the value of local A with two values. These are the parameters for add function call. You cannot get the global variable A is equals to 4 value. So this is a problem with whenever you are using the same name for local variable and global variable. So now here I'm writing the something like here I want to use the same name. This is for B. Okay, this is for C. Now here I am declaring one more variable A. Now see, this A will not same like the A of main function. Both are different. This A is under scope of add function. This A is under scope of main function. This A is the global scope. Now I want to allocate A is equals to x plus y. X plus y. Now return A. Now see the difference between local variable A to the global variable. Now this local variable a value is become 10 plus 2 12. Now this local variable a value will become 10, and this global variable a value will become 4. Now a value is not going to be modified, it is become 4 only. The add function local a scope is within this add function itself, cannot able to reflect on main function a. Now whenever you are allocating some value to the main function a, cannot reflect on a global variable a. So like that, whenever you are using a common name for local to global variable, always functions are preferred to allocate or modify the value of local a, not on global a. So in this case, we cannot get modification in the global variable a. Now I want to call it some more function, increment function. So it's a void and without parameters. Now we don't have any parameter in that function. So in this function, whenever you are calling this function void increment, here I want to increment the a plus plus. Actually, we don't have any variables in the increment function, but I have done a increment of a. Which a will be increment? Which a will be increment? Is it a of add function? Is it a of main function? Or is it a global variable a? See, already I told you that the local variable a of add function cannot access to the main function a. Main function a cannot access to the add function. No function can transfer this local variable to the other function. Their scope is within within their block itself. Now a scope is within the add function of add function. This a scope is within the main function. Now here without declaring any variable, I increment the a. Now increment cannot access a of add, cannot access a of main, which can able to access the global variable a. So now what happened here? The global variable a get increment and the value become global variable increment. Now the a value is become 5. Now I am printing. Now I am printing that a. Now here also here it which print the I am giving the pre-increment of a. Now in this case again a value will be modified. Which a value will be modified? Global a value will be modified. The value will become 6. In this case the value will become 6. So like that in increment function we don't have any variable declaration, but we are applied some increment operation on a particular a. This a is a global variable a. And after that I pre-increment on same a. Now finally the global variable a value is become 6. So this is generally is called as uh, a scope of global variable. The scope of global variable can able to access anywhere, but if the same name is repeated in the local variable, the function will prefer to modify or allocate and use the local variable name itself, not global variable. And there is a one more question I want to clarify. The question is that can we use a same name for local variable in multiple functions? This example for global variable name repeated in functions. Now the next example is that if local variable names can repeated in other functions. Let's clarify the same. Now this time int a is equal to compact global variable and main void main. Here I am declaring some variable like a b comma c comma d, then followed by I am calling the function b is equals to add of comma 3. Now by the definition for the add function, the return type is integer. Add function And here I want to use the same name, B comma C. B comma C. Actually, these variable names already used in the main function. Same name I have used. Now, and now, then I want to return B plus C. So again, there is a one more function multiplication. Here I want to pass the B of main function comma 2. B of main function comma 2. Now, whenever it is passing the void multiplication, void mul, here also I am declaring same variable B comma into C. Okay. Now the multiplication printf percentile D comma B into C. This is the program. See, in this program, a global variable name. I didn't repeat the global variable name anywhere in the function. In main function, there are three local variables are there. B, C, D. Now we are calling the two functions, add function, multiplication function from main method. After calling the first function, control transfer to the definition of add. In this definition, we have a two local variables. Their names are B comma C. Here also we have a B comma C. Now we are performing some addition of B plus C and we are returning the value to calling point. And the result assigned to the B. Now 2 plus 2 transfer to this B, 3 transfer to this C. Now B plus C, 2 plus C is 5. Now 5 value transfer to function calling point. Now this 5 value transfer to B of main function. Now B is become 5. Now we are transferring multiplication B comma 2. Now what is the B of main function? 5. Now 5 value will be transferred from here, value from here. Whenever it is calling multiplication, again we have a same kind of name, B comma C. Now B receives 5 and C receives 2. Now the multiplication result is 5 into 2, 10. But what happened whenever we are using the same local variable, same name for local variables in multiple functions? First, we remember we should know about auto storage class. Auto storage class means whenever we call a one function, all variables are get allocated memory immediately. Whenever control is exit from the function, automatically the variables deallocate their memory. Means whenever you are entering to the add function B comma C or get allocate. Allocation nothing but declared, and along with that respective memory will be allocated. 4 byte of memory for B, 4 byte of memory for C. Now after we performing this one, we are returning to back. So from where the function call is created, we are moving. Whenever you are exit from the function, immediately the variables are get deallocated. Deallocate nothing but remove from the scope. The scope is within the corresponding add block. They create whenever function is enter into the block, they deallocate whenever control exit from this block. This is nothing but a auto storage class related variable, and all local variables are by default they are auto comes under the auto storage class by default. I'm not mentioning the auto keyword in front of any declaration of local variable. By default, all local variables are comes under the auto storage class. Means they get allocate when function is called, they get deallocate when function is get exit. Now see, this B is their scope is within the add function. Their scope is within this add function. Now this B, their scope is within this a multiplication function. Now, their address example, the addition variable B address is a 2000 example. Example is the 2000 address. Then multiplication also has a one variable named B. Their address may be a something like a 5000. Both are different. Means in a one family or one in a particular colony, there is a one name like a Rahul. Rahul is repeated in a two families. Whenever they are repeated, it's not mean like a they are same. They are different, but names are same. Person one house number is a 2000. Person two house number is a 5000. So physically they are different. According to the name, their names are similar. In such a way, the b of say b under variable within the multiplication, their address is a 5000, which is different with the b which is declared in a add function. This is one point you remember, and one more point: all the local variables are auto comes under the auto storage class. According to this scenario, whenever function is enter into the particular function, immediately the memory will be allocated. Whenever the control is exit from the function, immediately they get deallocate. In similar way, whenever multiplication is called and the control enter into the multiplication function, and A B memories are B comma C memories are get allocated. After printf, control again get back to the function calling point. Whenever it is getting back, immediately these memories are get deallocated. By that way, we can use a common name for local variables in a different functions. We don't get any problem. But to avoid the confusion, basically whenever practicing the program, we have to give it a proper the suitable name and different names. Even though if you use a common name for the local variable, we don't get any error. It's create the confusion for code developers. That's it. Next, I already explained about whenever a common name is using for a global variable, what's the problem we are facing. So this is all about um, global variables and local variables. In the next class, I will explain about constant declaration.